Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Apex Racing TV, and welcome to round 7 of the DynamiXX Simracersworld GT Series. After a week's break, we've headed back over to North America to Florida to Sebring International Raceway for the latest round of the championship. Joining me in the commentary box alongside me, Adam Bath, tonight was meant to be Andrew Woodhouse. His bus broke down unbelievably, but stepping into the breach, perfectly stepping into the breach, it's Marco Barbanera. Marco, welcome. Obviously, the DynamiXX Simracersworld GT Series had a week break, but we're back now, and we're at a circuit which is pretty well regarded by many sports car drivers because this is the Sebring circuit, and it's famous for hosting the Sebring 12 Hours.
Exactly. Hello, everyone. Hello, Adam. Thank you for having me tonight. Everybody is getting ready for the 12-hour race this coming Saturday, including myself, unbelievably. And this is why I think we have, as per usual, a very, very big field, but everyone is more than ready for tonight's race. Both, it's important for the championship, and it's also even a nice bit of extra practice for the 12-hour official race on Saturday. So these drivers, I'm sure, will know every inch of this racetrack, and they should know every inch of this racetrack because we know this is one of the toughest tracks. I always say when I do broadcasts from this track, real life drivers say 12 hours at Sebring are much, much tougher than 24 hours in Daytona, and I think the reasons why are perfectly clear.
Indeed, yeah. It is a very difficult circuit, one that hasn't changed much over the years. Former airfield, and you can see that the track is very bumpy in places, and it is a car breaker and potentially a driver breaker as well. We did show on this channel a couple of days ago, as practice is in its final few minutes, the Apex Racing TV 90 minutes of Sebring. I believe you had a team running in that one, Marco.
Yes, we had the DP car running in there, and Michele, I think Costantini won the race in this category, so all good practice for Saturday. All the drivers I've been hearing left and right, not only in my team but the other teams, are a bit concerned about the big temperature swing between the day and the night. And today we're going to have a 1-hour race, which I guess it's going to be held in daylight conditions. Of course, when the night comes in this racetrack here, it's one of the best, I think, on the service, with the night lights coming on, and you see all those markers basically at the side of the road. They seem like, when you are on the airplane and they do the training for an eventual crash or something like that. You see all the lights there left and right, but most of the track is not lit at night. So those are very, very important to follow, where you are going. The bumps you talked about them a few seconds ago, and this is, I think, the best track that can showcase the importance of laser scanning a racetrack, because those bumps are crazy and are unbelievable until you really try them. Sunset Bend, where we are heading right now with Mr. Garcia here sitting in P4, is absolutely amazing. See the cars jump left and right in real life, and then see them do exactly the same, especially from here onwards in the middle to late part of the corner, is absolutely unreal.
Yeah, suspension is going to be key around here, and plus you don't want the car too low down, otherwise it's going to completely bottom out when you do hit those curbs. We do have some championship standings to bring you though, for the gold, the silver, and the bronze category. You can see it here. It is this is state of play overall, and it is Ian van Genekten that's leading the way. He's got a healthy 95-point lead over Gregory Ranks in second, and then Danny McCauley in third. Really impressing in the silver class. Did well in round 5. In fact, I think he won round 5 overall, despite being a silver. And then Matthias Dettige in 4th, Kobe Claes in 5th, and then Stein Van Buel in 6th, Bob Boland 7th, who's currently quickest in practice, and Javier Rodriguez in 8th, Chris Moretta in 9th, and 10th is Andrew Hopley. Another silver. We've got 3 silvers inside the top 10. McCauley, Claes, and Hopley. The rest are all golds. And the rest of the 18 you can see there on your screen. As we just bring it back up, we've got Alvarez, we've got Van Buel, Growls, Roots, Sherman's Ververke in 17th place, while and Jeremy Hassel's in 18th. Brand van Alphen, who's just off that top 18 graphic, is the highest bronze. In fact, there he is. Thank you. Thank you, Marco. Stephen Devol, Fanton Dupin, Sebastian Eberet, Bart Delman, Fernando Couto, Ben Mias, Stuart Musselwhite, Lee Dima, and Pedro Braganza all there as well, and a few others got some points on the board. Haven't been able to do all of the races so far. That is the state of play in the points. Now it's time to get down to the nitty-gritty of qualifying here at Sebring. A 20-minute session. Everybody's going to be on the circuit. That's a different format to what it's going to be for the actual 12-hour race, I believe. I think that's just solo qualifying for that one. But traffic could be quite important around here, Marco, because there are quite a few, well, there's two very long straights around here, and if you've got a teammate to hand, they might be able to provide you a decent tow that could make all the difference.
Yes, we saw that, of course, last week in the MX5s when they were here for the BSR leagues. We know that in those leagues, especially with the MX5, the draft is so important in qualifying. I absolutely, you know, it's always nice in this series and surprising, not surprising, I'd say, but it always brings a little bit of smile to my face to see all the huge number of cars coming out of the pits all together, and you can see on the right side there's half of the track is full of cars, the other half is not. You know, it's not as the draft is not as important as in the MX5s or other similar cars which have big tow on iRacing, but still it's important to have a little bit of you know, of draft to play, and if you have your teammates around you, and we see many you know, there are some teams that have big amount of drivers in the field, you know, 20 minutes of qualifying is not that much around here because the track is so long, and every time you make a mistake you want to, you know, go back to the pits, change something, you then have to do basically a 2-minute lap going around and then starting again. So, I mean, provided you don't find any traffic that might, you know, slow your progression during your good lap.
Guys, drivers just starting their qualifying laps now. Looking at a BMW getting driven by Kobe Clace here in the Dynamics racing car. Could this be a track that really suits the BMW, Marco? It's obviously good through the corners and under braking as well, and we've got some pretty big braking zones at this track.
Yes, I mean, it's always surprising to see I usually not, but sometimes I run in the VRS GT series, the sprint series, and it always surprises me the amount of BMWs in this field, in this series, compared to, you know, the official series. But seems like many of the drivers here like this car, and we have seen it to, you know, guys in this championship have proved that is a car that can compete on an equal footing with the Mercedes. So, I mean, it's one of those cars that it's really reliable, not too unpredictable, which I think it's always a plus when you're dealing with all the bumps around this track. And you know, let's see how they will perform. I'm expecting, once again, you know, there are lots of Mercedes and lots of BMW, so I think it's going to be both cars on equal footing once again. Of course, the BMW not eligible for the official race in a couple of days. Only the Mercedes and the Audi will be allowed to race in the GT3 class.
That's a shame. I love the BMW. I love that Z4 anyway, and that's coming to the end of its, well, I say life cycle, but it's going to definitely get usurped by the new BMW that's about to arrive on iRacing in a few weeks' time, as we start to get some qualifying times in. Stein and Ruben Van Buell putting in some lap times there. But Bob Boland eclipses them all. He was quickest in practice and goes to the top of the timesheets pretty early on here with a 58.7. Other cuts coming across the line now. Andrew Hopley goes into 6th with a 59.4, 59.6 Peter Growls. Hopley going into 7th too. Here, Sebastian Heberer is coming through the final few corners now, I believe. Car 42, there he is. Got a 158.7 to beat. And it looks like he's not going to be able to get the pole position. We'll see where he's going to be able to improve to as he comes across the line. Here goes 7th, 59.3. Ben Taines is also across the line. He is, looks like, because his position hasn't popped up, that it was an invalidated lap. And Matthias Detige has come into 9th place with a 59.4. Here, Van Genexen, championship leader, has come across the line and goes into second with a 58.8. That is just under a tenth, or just over, I should say, a tenth of a second slower than Bob Boland. And Van Genexen, he led the first part of the season, Marco, but it looks like he's trying to keep Bob Boland honest here in the early going, and there's just a tenth of a second between them after the opening run.
Absolutely. For those that are new to the series, of course, this series doesn't follow the traditional iRacing calendar, so this is not the final week of the season by any stretch of the imagination. We still have a bit left in this championship, so it's, despite, we saw that the standings, some drivers have quite obviously more points than others, and some are fighting for different things, but there is still many races left in the championship. We will have, after this round here at Sebring, 5 more races. Nürburgring on the 7th of March, then Road America 1 week later. 1 week later after that we have Brands Hatch, and also 1 week later Suzuka. And we will end it in Spa-Francorchamps on the 4th of April in a 75-minute race, so a special event to round up the season, and well, we will see who is going to be champion in the end. So there are still many points on the table for these guys.
Very good lap by Ruben van Buell to get the Buell racing car into P1 provisional pole. 58.5 for him. We'll see how all of the rest of the guys inside the top 10 can respond. Danny McCauley, who did a very good end to the first part of the season, is currently on an outlap. So too is Javier Garcia in the VRO car. Also with Verke as well, you can see his time along the bottom of the screen. So too Jochen Lennertz and Stuart Musselwhite too. As Garcia goes out the final corner. And over the line goes for Verke, I should say. He does a 20th place time of 2 minutes 0.5, and here comes Stuart Musselwhite too, bronze driver as well. If you're new to the series, you can see who is eligible for which championship by the stripe next to the number. If it's gold, they're in the gold class. Silver, they're in silver, and bronze, they're in bronze. That's pretty self-explanatory. Lennertz comes across the line, does 2:02.7, goes into 28th place. Will Musselwhite be able to beat that? Over the line he goes. It looks like it might have been an invalidated lap for him, but Bob Boland is eager to get that pole position back. He lost it to Ruben van Buell a few minutes ago. Van Buell did a time that was about 0.2 of a second quicker than the CMR Esports driver. Going to come through the final corner now through Sunset Bend in his Mercedes. A few green sectors, but mostly yellow, which means he hasn't been able to improve. See if he's able to do so now. Over the line he goes. It is not good enough for pole. It's not even a personal best either. It's a 58.9, which will keep him in second place for now. But everybody else inside the top 10 is, apart from Gregory Franks, is on a hot lap, as Andrew Hopley goes into 5th place with a 58.9, just a few tenths of a second away from the pole position. The times are pretty close so far.
They are very close, and we are almost halfway through qualifying, and we are already seeing an idea of the pecking order that we are going to have in the race. Of course, qualifying is one thing, and then racing is another, especially with a 1-hour race. I'm curious to see how these drivers will approach. If we've seen some drivers use the same strategy over and over again during the season, and so maybe they will try something different for this. I don't know. Nice to have Ian Roots back, by the way. He missed the previous round. I think he was on vacation when we were at Watkins Glen, so nice to have him back. P9 for him, doesn't improve himself. Javier Garcia is also coming to the start-finish line. 59.4, doesn't improve. And of course, one thing to keep in mind, I'm sure everyone knows it by heart now, but with the new weather system, you really need to pick your spot when to come on the track. And as McCauley goes second, 58.7, and when to stay in the pits, because the different cloud cover can and will change the track temperature and then make the track faster or slower.
And it shows the lengths iRacing are going to really make it as realistic as possible with the first of all the day to night transition now, and of course the dynamic weather too, so that clouds may appear over the circuit at certain times, and Marco was saying there, really affects potentially whether you get on pole position or not. Bob Boland comes across the line, just another green box there, just the one. And it's going to be another lap where he doesn't improve. But yeah, you mentioned just a few minutes ago, Danny McCauley going in second place. A few purple sectors too, with a in Sector 4 and Sector 5, an 11.9 and a 15.0 in Sector 4 and 5, which has really got him close. In fact, it's only just a few hundredths of a second between McCauley and Boland, second and third in the timing screens. As off the circuit goes Bram van Outven there, the bronze points leader and currently highest bronze driver on the timing screens, having a little bit of a moment there going through Sunset Bend.
Exactly, he's sitting right now in P14, so the best of the bronze drivers. Which, by the way, I was going through the overlay for the TV graphics a few minutes ago, as we have a car going back to the track at Sunset Bend, and the color bronze, in reality, it's a chocolate color. It's called chocolate in the overlay. Which sounds tasty, the chocolate drivers, you know, but no, they are bronze.
Imagine that at the Olympics.
Yeah, yeah, chocolate medal.
Chocolate medal.
Not very valuable, but very delicious.
Well, they always do the photos afterwards where they're biting on the medal.
Yeah.
They're biting the medal instead of they probably just eat it. That's worth training years and years to run a 100-meter race for. Looking here at Ian Roots in the Simracersworld car, he is in P9. But here is Sebastian Heverer. He's put in a few green boxes and he might be able to improve, but he doesn't. He does a 59.5, just under a second away from the pole. Here is Luke Tisch. He is trying to get up the order in the bronze category. About 5th or 6th place there. He comes over the line and goes 31st overall. 8 seconds off the pace there, but Joey might be able to improve from that. Arturo Alvarez now coming through the final corner, driving for VRO. See if he can improve at all. A green sector 6. So going to be, as he comes across the line now, it's another green sector 7. So you would be inclined to think he might be able to improve, and he does, all the way up to 9th place. 59.25, 0.6 of a second away from the pole.
Yes, good luck from him. I was watching once again that final corner, and it's sketchy when you are alone, but especially this part here when you come out of the corner, it's so tough when you are maybe following someone, so you take a slightly larger line than as Van Kenegten goes second, and all of a sudden you have the tire wall sticking from the outside of the wall towards the track, and you smash into it, and that usually is race-ending damage. So you have to be super careful when you're following someone, a train of cars maybe. That wall is always there, as I think McCauley is trying to improve himself, but so far only one green sector and a load of yellow ones, so don't think he's improving himself, but he will have another chance, even two, I think.
Steve Clace looks like he's it looked like he was set to improve. Don't know what happened there. Will McCauley be able to improve on his personal best of 58.7 and get in amongst Van Buel and Van Genegten? Over the line he goes. It says 58.9, 0.4 of a second away. But looking at the timing screens, it looks like it's exceptionally close between Van Buel and Van Genegten. 58.56 for Van Buel, 58.57 for Van Genegten. As here comes Ronald Moons, 22nd place. It looks like this isn't going to be the best of laps for him there as he weaves across the line, and indeed it isn't. But going back to Sunset Bend, if I may there, Marco, in terms of approaching it, is the moment you get back on the throttle, the moment when you catch a glimpse of the front straight, because then you know you're pretty much almost at the end of the corner.
You know, I know many drivers, quick drivers, and all of them I saw them use a different line coming into there. Some drivers are also told me that every time they go through that corner, it seems like they're taking it in a slightly different way. It's so difficult to have good reference, because especially on the outside, you have absolutely no way to, you know, understand. Yeah, there are some cones on the ground, but especially when you're in a battle, you don't have time to really pay attention to those. So we might see cars coming to the corner very tight to the wall, then do a very long apex and then come back, or maybe cars coming from the outside and maybe doing just a little bit more of a tighter radius throughout the corner. And it's nice when two guys are battling and you can see them having different lines through there. Now, it remains to be seen when the race will start. I mean, in the in-sim time, because of course, if we are racing in the afternoon, there is also the added problem of that being sunset band for a reason, and that is the sun is right above the corner, so it's straight into your face when you come on the Allman Straight.
Yeah, no windscreen. I don't think there's an option yet on iRacing to have a little bit of a strip put on the windscreen to hide the sun. It is one of the things that makes this race so special. And speaking of sunset bend, here comes Matthias Dettige into the final corner. 2 green boxes in the middle of the lap. Is that gonna translate into a new personal best for him? You can see 9 thousandths of a second between Van Buel and Van Genexten. Doesn't look like it was a good time at all there. But here is Bram van Alphen, highest bronze driver. You can see a very wide entry. He had to get out the throttle there, didn't he? And wide he goes, and doesn't look like he's going to be able to improve on that time.
Look at the bumps, as you see Diver takes it a little bit too tight, I think, there, and of course not the quickest laps for him. He's 2:13, so maybe try again next time, as the clock is winding down, by the way, so not much time left. Javier Garcia is trying to improve. Green sector towards the end of the lap, not good in the beginning. As you can see on the left side of your screen, the gaps in real time.
I can tell you that Van Genexten has put in purple in sector 2 and 4, but let's see what Garcia can do here. For the final corner he goes. Can he improve on his 5th spot? He's only got to make 0.3 of a second somewhere, and then he'll be able to get on the pole. Over the line he goes, and he stays 5th with a 59.3. Here we are then with Van Genexten. It's purples in sectors 2 and 4. Is it going to be enough to trouble the pole sitter? He's only got to find 9 thousandths, or maybe just 100th of a second from somewhere around this lap, and he will be on the pole position for this race. Let's see. Through the final corner he goes. He's not going to get too many more attempts at this because... And he's going to come into the pit.
Yeah.
There you go.
Surprise, and I mean that is it for him. No way he can come out of the pits and get a lap quick enough in order to start a new one that counts for the timing. So he's out of the running for pole position. Ian Roots still in P11. Doesn't improve himself, as we see a couple of bronze drivers also coming towards the start-finish line. One of them is Jochen Lenners here, and I think behind him is Lee Woodburn, but I don't think... Or maybe he will improve himself, I don't think so. He was 2.7 seconds of pole position, and this lap is quite a bit slower than that. So, with only 1 minute and 40 seconds left, there is not much time for these drivers to improve, as they are pushing hard. You see, they are all over the place in the grass, spinning, tires squealing for McCauley here. So, they are trying to do their best, but maybe it won't be enough.
Corley seriously twitching away in that BMW there, going for the final corner. Gregory Ranks comes across the line and does a 59.7. He will get one more opportunity to improve on that lap, as we are about to enter the final minute of this qualifying session. Sergio Souza, the silver driver, does a 2:07. Not able to improve on that time at all. Ben Taines does. 2 minute lap time for him. Out on the circuit is Van Genexten is on an out lap, but I don't think he's going to make it. Here is Kobe Claes, though, coming into the final corner, 17th place. Just looking at where the silver drivers are, he is 6th place in terms of the silvers. And he's going to come out of the final corner now. If that's not an off track, well, I think he might have just got away with it. Over the line he goes. And he does a... So it doesn't look like it was a validated lap, potentially. Yeah, not too sure there. Steven de Wolf is lighting up the green boxes because he hasn't set a time yet. That would explain things, but having said that, now he's just, the moment we cut to him, he's just going to come over to the side of the circuit and stops. So,
I hear someone in the broadcast booth, by the way.
I have to say, that was a great 10 seconds of commentary, wasn't it? That?
Hello, yes,
Hello.
It's Andrew Woodhouse.
How are we doing? My bus was as reliable as Lewis Hamilton's car at Malaysia in 2016.
There we go.
But I wasn't saying, oh, no, no, no.
So,
Well,
since,
I
you
have
know,
to get... how are we doing, gentlemen? Anyway, it was a good qualifying session. It was close.
yeah, just the 9,000ths of a second in it between Van Puyol and Van Genexen.
Ow.
yeah, this one is going to be close. And now that Woody has joined us, I will move back behind the camera and shut up for the rest of the race and leave you in the nice company of Adam and Andrew.
There you go. Cheers,
Very
Marco,
kind of
for helping me get through the qualifying session anyway. Yeah, there is Van Genexen. Looks like he's not on a qualifying lap. But can't really tell. The checkered flag is surely out, and it looks like he's not going really at too much of a pace. So just a few cars left to set a time.
Look, he was sort of chilling there, didn't he? Happy with his work, I think. P2, it's always a good... it's always a good solid base in which to start the race. This is Anton Dupin. Can he improve on one? Oh, he can. Or can he? No, it was very close. Nearly improving. Missing out just by a couple of hundreds, yeah.
Very close there. As Roy Ververke does a 2:09, not able to improve there. But Dima could. He's got 2 green boxes as he's on his way round to the finish line. Over he goes. It's 3 green boxes. 3 green boxes. Easy for me to say. And he goes 19th place with a 59.8.
Thought you were going to break into 10 green bottles then for a second. 3 green boxes on the timing screen. Sebring then. So bumpy, technical, difficult, and hard to overtake, really.
I hope that doesn't deter anybody that is watching. But yeah, I do totally agree. And if you ask me what circuit I probably wouldn't like to race around, it is this one. Sunset Bend is mightily difficult, as me and Marco were talking just before you arrived, in terms of trying to get a car around there and judging the exit perfectly so you don't hit anything. And then you've got the hairpin, you've got Tower Bend as well, which are kind of half overtaking opportunities, but they're so tight going into and out of them that if you send it up the inside, they're almost certainly going to result in hitting the car in front of you.
This is why I think we're going to have a good race, because any overtaking moves that are made are going to be well earned, I think, because, like I said, it is fairly tough. But as well, some of the brightest sunshine I think I've ever seen on iRacing here, and this race so far. 22 degrees is the air temperature, 34 degrees track temperature, which shouldn't be too bad for the drivers. It's actually gone to 36 now as we were talking. And to run you through the starting grid, then Ruben van Boel will be on pole position with 158.564 ahead of if Van Genexen by less than a hundredth of a second. Dan McCauley is the silver pole position winner, effectively in 3rd place for CQR. Then it's Bob Boland for CMR, and then Javier Garcia and Gregory Vanks in 6th, Andrew Hopley 7th, the second of the silver drivers, Stein Van Boel in 8th, and all silver row 5 with Arturo Alvarez and Nick Schurmans. Ian Roots is in 11th, Sebastian Eberer is in 12th, Matthias de Tige is in 13th, Peter Grauls is in 14th, and Anton Dupin in 15th, and the highest bronze driver, Bram van Oudven, in 16th. Koba Klaas is in 17th place with Steve Klaes in 18th, Lee Diemer 19th, Chris Moretta in 20th, Jeremy Hessels in 21st, Royal Moons in 22nd, then 23rd place for Roy Ververke ahead of Sergio Souza, Ben Taines in 25th, Thijs Berger second in silver in 26th, second in bronze, sorry, Pedro Braganza in 27th, 28th for John McConville, then Stuart Musselwhite in 29th, Dries Moosdy 30th, Lee Woodburn 31st, 32nd for Jochen Lennartz, Luke Tice in 33rd, Stephen De Wolf in 34th, as we saw him not setting a time, Ben Mears in 35th, and he rounds out the starting grid here at Sebring, Adam.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we got a full pace lap to go as well before we get the race underway. Of course, the iRacing Sebring 12 hours is this weekend. Still awaiting a call from a team. I can't really race either. I haven't got a wheel, but live and hope as we get ready to get the formation lap underway. Jeremy Hessels looks like he hasn't taken to the grid, so either he's exited the session or he's going to be starting from the pit lane. That's what it looks like from here anyway.
Yep.
The field starts to roll away now on the formation lap.
It's not the worst idea in the world, though, if he's starting from the pits intentionally, because we do see a little bit of chaos sometimes in the first 2 or 3 corners. It is very tight. It's a very open entry to the first corner, but really, you can see just how much it closes up on the exit. We often get a bottleneck through this narrow section into this turn 2 here, which is very sort of... It's quite tight, but the curb is quite high as well.
And this part here is probably one of the narrowest on the circuit. Usually, if you're running too wide through this point, almost certainly going to end up in hitting one another. Now we go through the big bend towards the hairpin. Scene of that famous video where the Corvette just takes off and ejects itself on the circuit, and then tries to get back in at the hotel, which we're driving to on the left-hand side.
Yeah, he almost had to pay to get back in. He went that far out. As ended up on a service road or whatever. So hopefully nobody has any sort of incident like that. One thing is for sure, they won't be smashing through the gate at the end. At least I hope not. Van Boel on pole though. Ruben Van Boel this time, who's been actually who's not really been getting the better of Stein Van Boel throughout the season. So it's good to see him on pole position, really putting together a good lap in the BMW. You've driven the BMW a lot. Do you think it suits? This track?
Personally, I think it does. Obviously, I've driven the BMW loads, but I haven't been in the car for a while. But yeah, I was asking Marco this earlier when we just began at the beginning of the program about the BMW, and yeah, it does look like that the tight and twisty nature of the Sebring circuit has really put the BMW into its own, and you can see that with Ruben Van Boel on the pole position. Just looking at the points that he's accumulated before coming into this one, Ruben, he's in 8th in the standings, and his best finish really came at round 4 of the season, which was at Zolder, another tight and twisty circuit. So obviously the BMW is coming to the fore here, and we can see that with quite a lot of them in the 3 classes, as Marco is just bringing them up now. That is Bram van Outven on the pole position. He's in a Merc though. Looks like the majority of the field today is either a BMW or a Mercedes here today, and that's something we'll see in Formula E next year as well.
Just 7 points, incidentally, for Ruben Van Boel in the last 2 rounds. He'll be hoping to rectify that here in the 7th one out of 12. If Van Genekten has won 5 of the opening 6 races, and he starts in 2nd place. So, well, Adam, they're about to approach Sunset Bend. We're about to go racing.
Indeed, yeah. Watch out for Danny McCauley as well. He's a silver in all but name. He has really gave the golds a run for their money as Ruben Van Boel comes through the final corner to get us ready for the return of the DynamiXX Simracersworld GT Series. Safety car comes into the pit lane then. Green lights are on. And round 7 of the Simracersworld GT Series here at Sebring is underway. Good start by McCauley. It looks like he might try to fill the void that Van Genekten has on the outside, but he's going to swoop around the outside. The man that started 2nd on the grid is going to lose that 2nd spot. Hear a crash. What's happened?
I definitely heard something going on there. Oh, and there's a spinner at the rear of the field, and that looks like it's Stephen de Wolf who's facing the wrong way. But Van Boel still leads. Dan McCauley's got up into 2nd. Van Genekten down to 4th. Javier Garcia has gone through, and now the attack is coming through Big Bend.
Yeah, Van Boel ran very wide going through the exit of the complex, and it's going to mean that Danny McCauley easily has the lead by the time we get to the hairpin.
I wonder if he got a slowdown, because he lost a lot of ground there. Very much doubt he's got that kind of speed discrepancy between he and Dan McCauley, who has won a race this season. He won round 5 of the championship 2 weeks ago. Only 6 points last week, though. Not a great one. Oh, and there's and off goes Dupan. Oh, well, he does now. It wasn't Dupan, but he's the one who gets collected. And it was a Mercedes of Moon's, I think, possibly.
Yeah, Dupan dropping down the order. I think it might possibly have been Peter Growls. Stein Van Buell, in fact, involved too. There is the Merc.
Oh, yeah, it is Growls, who was in 14th place. As you can see by the number on the front windscreen there. Berger also off. Also dropping down the order. So a bit of a scrappy start for a few in the midfield. We're going to see exactly what happened here between... Oh, right, it's just somebody going very deep into the corner there. That was Jeremy Hessels and Stephen De Wolf.
Yeah, Van Genekten's back up to third. He's got past Javier Garcia coming through the final corner.
2 by 2 behind him, look at that.
Yeah, Kobe Clace is a man on a mission. He's gained 9 spots so far. He's trying to make it 10, but Arturo Alvarez is really making him work for it.
5th in the championship for him. And, yeah, second in silver at the moment, Copa Class. And here's Alvarez alongside him.
Helicopter here.
Oh, that's very close. He nearly loses the rear, Alvarez. But he's also got pressure from behind as well. Detige and then Boland trying to get involved as well.
God, BMW was mighty on the outside there by Class, and he's through into 7th place now. But it's still, this battle still rages on as we go to the hairpin. Watch out for Boland in and amongst this. Up the inside, you can see a lot of Simracersworld liveried Mercs there too. Really circling these guys behind.
2 podium finishes in a row for Bob Boland. He's on a great run of form. Didn't qualify particularly... well, he qualified okay, actually. He qualified in 4th. Must have had a poor start then somewhere. Didn't really see exactly what happened to him. But it's Macaulay, Van Boel, Van Genekten, Garcia and Hopley, the top 5. Andrew Hopley, 2 positions again from him. Copa Class is now getting 10 places.
Boland was quickest in practice as well before we got to qualifying, but this battle continues to rage on here as we go to the Le Mans complex. A few Mercs trying to battle it out. A trio of Simracersworld cars in a line, all trying to get by the VRO car of Alvarez as we move a bit back further up the field. Here is Javier Garcia. He's got a Hopley for company. Closing really quick, isn't he?
Sorry, he went very wide coming out of the second to last corner. Might open the door for Hopley here. Sunset Bend just goes on forever, and it's bumpy. Still going on, look. And but he gets good drive off the corner, does Spaniard. And there's a disappearing Mercedes in there somewhere.
Yeah, it's Nick Sherman's.
He might be out of the race actually. It might be a DSC for him.
Looks like Stein Van Buell and Stuart Musselwhite apparently has had a crash too. Including Nick Sherman, Stephen De Wolf and Stuart Musselwhite have all crashed somewhere, so problems for those guys. But here is Van Genekten trying to take the 2nd place away from Ruben Van Buell, the pole sitter.
He's got a good straight line speed advantage. He's up the inside, and he doesn't have to be particularly late on the brakes. Van Buell was quite gentlemanly there. Oh, and there's something gone off there at the hairpin. I think that might have been Boland running into the back of... sorry, Hopley running into the back of Garcia, I imagine.
Here's a replay.
I'm not certain, but they weren't that... they were a lot further behind. And here we go.
Oh,
there it is.
well, straight into the back of Mini Rossi.
Oh my God, what's this?
Good.
Oh,
what is happening in there? Yeah, it's
that's Bentanes.
It is Bentanes.
Localized entirely within the last corner.
Yeah.
It seems.
There.
Well, what on earth happened there? I'd love to see what happened at the beginning of that.
You know what? I reckon Nick Sherman's might return to life.
Oh, do you think he might have just appeared?
Similar to what we had in the.
Oh, it's already got. What's that? There's a
7-Up. That's Stein Van Buell, isn't it?
That's Stein Van Buell, yeah. So De Wolf's been in the wars already. Oh, there's a car going slowly through Sunset Bend.
Replay.
Oh, it's 2 separate accidents, isn't it? Van Buell and whoever that is. Unfortunately, I couldn't see that. They had their own accident, and then DeVos had his own accident as well, I think.
Oh,
Showman's has spun off separately. Turn 1, that is.
a lot of drama unfolding just on that lap. What it does mean, though, is that Van Genexten is only 0.2 of a second away from Macaulay now, and these two have pretty much swept all the races so far this season, and battle is resumed after a week's break right on the circuit.
Yeah, Van Genexten qualifies pretty well, to be honest, but he's just fantastic in the races, and he's shown that he's been exceptional this season so far. So was Macaulay, though, and sort of switched teams. He told us after he entered the series, so that's why there's only one CQR car out there. But he said you never know, he might return with the team next year. I'll tell you something. I can guarantee you one thing, Adam. If there's one thing I can guarantee, it's that he won't be silver next year, next season.
Yeah, you're right. I don't think he will, unless he fills in the entry form role.
Oh, he nearly crashes there.
Yeah, he's BMW. We said it's a pretty stable car, but he was sliding his way out of Tower Bend there, and it's allowing Van Genexten to really apply the pressure now. Just a tenth of a second between them. Don't go up the inside there, Van Genexten. That would almost end in disaster, and he doesn't. But he does have a Sunset Bend coming up. Could be a real opportunity for the Merc to apply the finishing touch to the BMW here.
It really does look intimidating when the Mercedes is chasing down the BMW. Such a size difference.
Well,
and he's got a great slipstream here and less than 0.2 of a second behind, but you've got to be a brave person, in brackets, idiot probably, to have a dive into Sunset Bend.
We've seen it before though, haven't we?
We have, yes.
Obviously the BMW will be getting a significant enlargement in a few weeks' time when the new Beamer arrives.
It's his big brother that's going to come and beat all the other cars up. Except it's not going to be in this class, of course.
Yeah, it's a GTE, GT3, and
Van Genexten then.
Yeah.
Interesting to see his steering wheel inputs. Fairly smooth. To be honest, as smooth as you can be around this circuit, because it really does sort of knock you about quite a bit when your hands are on the wheel, and it's really just sort of the force feedback just rattling away.
Obviously, we don't have, both of us don't have direct drive wheels or anything, but it must be brutal to race around this circuit for 12 hours. Marco was saying when we came on earlier that this is 10 times as hard as the Daytona 24 Hours, and it's half the race distance.
So I believe I have driven this track with a direct drive wheel, but it was only it might have been for 12 minutes, you know, not 12 hours, and yeah, I bet it's just ridiculous. Dear me. But I do enjoy endurance racing. It's something I'd like to do a bit more of, but I'll be honest with you, this race has never really tickled my fancy because I know how difficult this circuit is. It's a bit like the Bathurst 12 Hours. I think I know my my talent limit. As Ian Roots and Chris Moretta have gone off, I wonder if that's a joint effort from them in 11th and 12th places.
They were off the circuit for about 0.7 of a second, and we were back on it again. Here is Macaulay versus Van Genexten, though. This is a battle that we hope will be able to continue right up to the pit stops and beyond that, as we approach the 10-minute mark in this hour-long race around the Sebring International Raceway.
Because you can get, and the reason why I had the little joke about, you know, you're a bit stupid if you try the move into Sunset Bend, if you're not alongside at least anyway, because it's such a fast entry, the car in front doesn't really brake too much in the initial part. You sort of do your braking throughout the corner. Think of almost a little bit like, say, turns 1 and 2 in Shanghai, where you start off with an extremely fast entry and you gradually reduce the speed.
Quite a lot of corners like this as well coming up. The hairpin here, for example, which are really stop-start, and really got to be careful about how you put power down on the exit too, as the front three go through the field. It's in terms of silvers, it's Macaulay, then Hopley in 6th, then Kobe Klass, and then Arturo Alvarez in 10th position. Bram van Alphen, as he has for the majority of this season, in fact probably all of the season so far, he is leading the way in the bronze category. He's got a few positions in hand over the next car, which is Pedro Braganza in the Spirit Sim Racing.
Yeah, Van Alphen had a bit more of a difficult run course last time out, where he was beaten by Stuart Musselwhite, who took that one. And, you know, Van Alphen, I think that the fact that he's been so good throughout the entire season is kind of given the bronze class a little bit more impetus in trying to, trying to beat him, really, because it seems like that class is improving all the time.
Jochen Lennertz has crashed on this lap. Don't know.
Somebody's Roy Viveka's off the track as well. Ben Mears was off. In fact, there was about 4 or 5 of them off the track. Yeah, there were about 4 or 5 of them off the track on the last lap. Luke Tice, Matthias de Tige, Ben Mears, Roy Viveka, they were all off the track at some point or other. This is Ronald Moons looking back at Sebastian Heberet, the German, I believe, inside. Moon's trying the long way around in the Sim Auto Mercedes. Team that, of course, I drove for it in the summer of 2018 for races. And up the inside goes. Oh, that's a great cutback by Peter Growles on John McConville.
Well, he's having to fight his way back through the field, isn't he? After his not misdemeanors, I was going to say his expedition on the opening lap of the race. It's an expedition that's resulted in him dropping down the order. He's lost 13 places, but he's slowly getting them back. But his teammate in the Atomic Motorsport car, Van Genekten, is not letting Danny McCauley have a minute piece here. We're approaching a quarter of an hour here at Sebring, and still McCauley is keeping the Mercedes at bay. But it is a good display so far from McCauley. Van Genekten has obviously done a great job so far this season. He's won all but one of the races, with McCauley getting the other. So the BMW down the straights like this is really going to be at a disadvantage, but Van Genekten not able to get the move done as of yet.
Yeah.
Oh, we can hear him lifting there too, sorry.
Well, he probably just doesn't want to be right with him going into Sunset, because it's a tough corner anyway without having a car right in your face. But you do wonder if he was right with him, could he go for it into turn 1? Turn 1's also a tough place to make an overtake. We've seen it done a couple of times successfully so far today, but you always feel like you're risking it a little. There's the gap, pretty non-existent. The highest it's been was just under 0.5 of a second.
You also see going through the first corner how different the lines were between the two of them. That's this one thing that this track does provide, like corners like Sunset and Turn 1. You can take different lines. So here, Van Genekten.
And Tower as well is another one that you can sort of
definitely, yeah,
have your own interpretation. Really, what suits your car better is really the thing around here.
Looking here at Andrew Hopley, who is still in this free car train with Ranks and Garcia, and up the inside goes the Sim Racers World car. They have Ranks, who's doing quite well in the standings. Garcia doesn't make the best of lines through there. Could be under pressure going into Tower.
P2 overall for Ranks, 2 second places, rounds 2 and 3 of the season. It's fallen off a tiny bit, but you know he's still finished. Well, he's had 2 4th places the last 2 rounds, which is actually very good when you think about it. Very consistent. If you can finish in the top 5 once more today, then I think he'll think that's a job well done.
Yeah, he's doing a reasonable job so far. Obviously, all these guys have been able to gain positions as a result of the dropping of Bob Boland down the order a little bit, down to 7th place. Now is the CMR Esports car as this trio go into Sunset Bend here. Inside there, he's nibbling away at the back of that Mercedes is Gregory Vranks. But here come the leaders again. Going to be go time, is it? This time for Van Genekten? No, it isn't. You can also see the gold windscreen strip as well, indicating what class he's in, as Corley uses all of the track and then some, going through the first corner.
The only thing I can think of is he's saving fuel and just going as long as he, trying to go as long as he can. And sort of using Macaulay as a little bit of a shield almost. Like a cyclist hides in the peloton to shield from the wind. And it just bottom line is it makes it more efficient, as we're seeing here. Chris Moretta into turn 1 he comes. Goes wide.
Little off excursion.
I think that was it.
Testing the limit. Testing the limits of the circuit. Something that probably would do very well. Look at this, and this is a battle between many different classes. This is Lenertz, Jochen Lenertz versus Peter Grauls. Grauls trying to get the positions back, and it looks like he has done so. He's got past Woodburn and McConville, who are now trying to go wheel to wheel with each other, going into the hairpin. McConville looking at the inside, in fact, in the background of the shot there, and it looks like Simracersworld silver driver has got past the Excite Racing bronze driver for 26th place overall.
Lee Woodburn was very, very good on the brakes there, and then just decided he was going to leave the door open for McConville, but he's not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. He's through. Tice Berger having a look on Woodburn now. Looks like he's got some pace, actually. He wasn't on the back of this group a minute ago.
Apparently Stein Van Meulen and Luke Tisch have crashed again. Somewhere on the circuit, that's what it says on the event. It says on the event view anyway. Stein isn't having the best of things here today at Sebring.
Fastest man on the track that time round was Andrew Hopley, 159. Oh, sorry, wait, no, it wasn't. It was actually Dan McCauley, 159.97. I was looking at the fastest laps of the race actually, and that one does look like it belongs to Andrew Hopley. No, it's Van Genekten. Never mind. We'll just write off that entire 30 seconds, I think. Oh, crash! Oh. Well, speaking of write-offs, Woodburn and Berger having a set 2, shall we say, in the final corner.
First incident we've seen at Sunset Bend really here today, and the two of them...
Well, apart from the 4-car pilot we had earlier on.
Oh, yeah. How can I forget? Here we are on board. I don't know, Jeff. Oh, turning. Look at this ball lock.
I saw him go off, but I thought they were bringing a sub on. Yeah, just a little nerf from the side, and it was the old Vettel spin, wasn't it?
Mm.
Which is a bit of a weird one.
Saw plenty of them last year.
Oh dear.
Well,
they've got the best fans here at Sebring. And here's and that's Tice Berger ahead of what looked like Anton Dupin, and he's just gone a bit wide, and Ferrari goes through. Dupin, who got collected earlier on, completely not his fault. Now here comes Van Genekten. Now he is alongside, and now he does have the high ground, so to speak, in Sunset Bend, and he goes through. That's how you've got to make that move in that corner, though, Adam. You can't lunge. You have to be alongside.
That was a move that was about 15 minutes in the making, wasn't it? He'd been following Macaulay for quite some time. Had been lifting a little bit, but looks like he got the run going out of the penultimate corner, and then by the time we got to Sunset Bend, that Mercedes was already alongside enough, not really much that Danny Macaulay could do. But now the shoe's going to be on the other foot. The BMW will be able to pick up the toe from the Mercedes, and obviously that will help its straight line speed, because the BMW is the quickest in a straight line. So this is by no means over for Daniel Macaulay. We'll just have to wait and see whether he's going to be able to hang on to the coattails of that Mercedes that has done a very good job in the first part of the season. But yeah, change for the lead, as we are now 20 minutes into the 60-minute race, a third of the way through. This train then, this is Javier Garcia, Gregory Vranks, Andrew Hopley and Bod Boland. CMR Esports, two CMR Esports cars in there in Hopley and Boland. One's a silver, one's a gold. and Simracersworld for Ranks and VRO for Garcia. And Mercedes at the moment of Garcia doing a good job keeping these guys at bay. Ranks, we were talking about him earlier, about the season he's had up to this point. And Ruben Van Buren just up the road has gone off a little bit. He's 3.5 seconds up the road. It looks like that little off track hasn't really hindered him too much. But yeah, this train is shows no signs of going away. But one thing that we aren't seeing from the train is any driver probably close enough at this moment in time to make a move. Having said that, Franks has got within 0.2 of a second now of Garcia. He might fancy his chance of going onto the back straight.
Yeah, he's pretty close now. Garcia's looked a bit vulnerable in that middle sector so far throughout the race. Seems to have the straight line speed though. Ranks is right in the slipstream, can't make a dent on it. Unless, like you say, he was maybe he's lifting like Van Genecten, who knows. He's right with him now though. This is a great opportunity as they come across the start-finish line.
Let me go then. Simracersworld car's going to duck to the right, he's going to duck to the left, and he
my word,
slams straight into the back of him. I thought we were going to see a crash then, but Franks was able to get on the anchors and prevent it, and that was very close.
I thought we were going to get the Daniel Ricciardo, Max Verstappen Baku crash there, where sort of neither of them really go, don't really react to the situation. But Garcia still in 4th place, but the upshot of this is basically that they're now 3 seconds behind Javier Garcia, behind Ruben Van Boel, the pole sitter, who's just happily going along in 3rd. 3 seconds behind Dan Macaulay. It's 1 second nearly now between Van Genecten and Macaulay, showing the Belgians real speed here. And here comes Stijn Van Boel then with a heavily damaged car, having a look on Lee Woodburn, who does leave the door open again.
Oh, where's he going?
I'm not sure. There he is.
Very nearly crashes into the back of somebody that had just come out of the pit. Not too sure that was. It was one of the Simracersworld cars, so it could have either have been Nick Sherman's or Stuart Musselwhite. Either way, unfortunately, it didn't hit him. But yeah, Van Buren has now become the latest car to get past Woodburn. It was, in fact, Musselwhite here. You can see him around the circuit.
Although saying that, might be a little bit harsh on Lee, because I guess he's not really racing Stijn Van Boel, is he? No. You know, a guy who qualifies in the top 5 or 6 usually. So was it leaving the door open, or was it just sensible racing? It was probably the latter.
Battle for 4th continues, going through the final corner. Mercedes versus, in fact, it's a train of 4 Mercedes as they line now. If we could see a Mercedes power car in the F1 this year troubled the Mercedes factory effort. Go through turn 1. Frank's looking up the inside.
Stuart Musselwhite's been off for 5.5 seconds. Although I imagine that might have just been, although he's many laps down, isn't he? So I imagine that's just getting out of the way of somebody. Yeah. Here comes Franks, and this is the best chance he's had so far. Gregory Franks needs to try and force the opening here, I think. I know there's quite a long time left, but he's losing touch with Van Boel, Macaulay and Van Genecten. I think he needs to get himself into the battle sooner rather than later. And this is the section of the course where Garcia doesn't seem like he's that strong. It's pretty good in Sector 1 and Sector 3, but Sector 2... Look at that, you see, look how much he gains, Gregory Franks there.
Well, he's already hit the back of that Mercedes once before. He very nearly came close to hitting it again there as they went through Tower. Could be a real opportunity for him this time. He just needs to try and get it done through the complex here. Let's see how he gets on. He hits that apex good. Garcia, yeah, Garcia was a little bit wide through the first part. Now he hits the curb well, gets the power down, runs very nearly wide onto the grass. But let's have a look at the gap. Is it coming down? It very slowly is, and see him moving across the toe a little bit.
I wonder if can Franks get close enough to force the issue into turn 1. Oh, a lot of bouncing around. Great exit though by Gregory Vranks over the start-finish line then. Oh, is he going to try the outside here? Gregory Vranks trying to go all the way around. He just doesn't have the grip, although Garcia is still kind of defending the middle. Andrew Hopley there. Bob Boland, 2 CMR esports cars, different brands. BMW and Mercedes. Give a shout out to Steve Kleiss actually. Adam, who's flying the flag for Ferrari in 14th.
Well done to him. Usually it's the BMW that's where it's the rarity where we see and we still call them out, but today it's the turn of the Ferrari. Don't think we've got an Audi in the field today. We sometimes had 1 or 2 in the previous rounds, none of them here, but there is...
Senad Kokan, didn't we? But he's not, I don't think he's in this one. No, he isn't. No. Oh, Jochen Lennartz, what's happened to him? He's dropping down the order. Is it a scheduled one for him, or is it a... Not sure whether it's a scheduled pit stop or not, but this is super close now.
No, Hopley's got by
Hopley's
Frank,
gone,
hasn't he?
yeah.
So the silver passes the gold. And will the gold driver of Ranks be able to respond here? The driver of. There you go.
The driver of, indeed, yes.
Oh.
That's the first one of the day.
Yes.
That's the first driver of word of the day. Here's, oh dear. Here's Gregory Vranks. We'll try that again. Gregory Vranks right with Andrew Hopley. Great slipstream. He's going left and right. He's not helping himself really. He's not picking a side. Oh, and Hopley's missed it. Hopley's missed Sunset Bend. And that means that all the hard work he did is undone, but he might be able to rescue it here. But Vranks needs to go right over to the, I think, to the wall, but to defend this, and he's not going to.
One upside to Garcia running so wide for that final corner. The mother of cutbacks, didn't he? So that is how he was able to almost get by Vranks, but it was to no avail in the end as one of the Mercedes comes in. Is that Dima, 15th place? It looks like he's coming to the pits, potentially for a scheduled stop as we hit the about to hit the half-hour mark.
Well, in the meantime as well, Garcia's escaped. Here's Steve Kleiss. Oh! Moretta! Moretta loses it. He only loses 1 place. Or is it going to be 2? Oh! Fisticuffs. Really locking arms.
Who's going to come out on top here? Is it Hebera? Or is it going to be Moretta? Round the outside goes Moretta there in 13th place, and he's got it done. So the DMR esports car up another place. He's gained 7 spots since the start of the race. Hebera, he has lost 2. So he's down to 14th place now, starting in 12th. A few bronze cars coming in as well during the last few laps. That was Berger, you can see at the bottom, and Woodburn also in 2. But I think Woodburn might have jumped back to the pit because he has been in the pit lane as long as he's been in the pit box as long as he's been in the pit lane. So I wonder if he's had a bit of a wreck out there somewhere.
Yeah, that was a good move, that. I enjoyed that one. Good battle by Moretta to fight back. Now, Vranks, Hopley, Boland go again. Garcia is still a second or so ahead. He needs to make a break for this while he can, because I don't think he has the pace to keep those CMR cars behind for the rest of the race. As we join Dan McCauley taking a trip through the grass.
Yeah, his name was in red for a little bit of a long time there, which made me and probably Marco worry. That's probably why we've gone to him. And fortunately, he's been able to escape from it. Obviously, this track is surrounded by grass runoff areas, so if you do run wide at all, you are going to pick up an off track somewhere. Here is how it happened.
Yeah. Just a bit of understeer, isn't it? And we mentioned the BMW's understeer a couple of weeks ago, and reared its ugly head there. Earfang and Ecton, since he's got past Daniel McCauley, he's now lapping a second quicker than anybody else.
Guys, yeah, 4.8 seconds ahead. I'll almost compare it to how Alvaro Bautista was in the World Superbikes at the weekend. He won both race 1 and race 3 by 15+ seconds over, like I said, Jonathan Ray and Leon Haslam and riders like that. It was an incredible debut for him. And Van Genexten here, he's running away with this one in similar circumstances here. The gap's up 5 seconds before he even got to the pit stops.
I wonder if Boland's going to try something interesting to. Problem for Anton Dupin.
Yeah, he stops on the exit turn 1. So looks like the case. Anyway, he's got going in. I wonder if this might just be the case of stopping
Maybe
to allow
spin.
Some people to get by. Let's have a look. Here's a replay.
Ominously for him, there aren't anybody behind him. He's got tracking issues, hasn't he? And that has caused a big spin.
Look out! Oh.
But that's not his fault. There's nothing he can do about that. I mean, he's turning right just to go straight down the pit straight.
Stylish spin turn. But that's not going to help him too much anyway. He's down in 27th place, which is ahead of quite a few of the bronze drivers. However, they've all been in the pits of their own various issues. As we look here at our leader, and he's just put in a purple sector 1 as well. So he's not showing any signs of slowing down as Chris Moretta decides to take a break from the battle he was in a few laps ago that we were looking at, to come down the pit lane now and get his mandatory pit stop done now. As we're 32 minutes into this one.
It's just an absolute clinic by Van Genexten. He really is. He's just putting the fastest first sector of anybody of the entire race. I mean, at this point on, from lap 17 of the race, it's been on the tyres for over half an hour. Yes, the fuel's coming down, but to just turn on a performance like this after a bad start as well, he didn't panic. He worked his way up gradually. And just a super impressive performance. Can't wait to see this lap time. It could be the fastest lap of the race. It won't be that far off. So you know. He's got a bit of traffic in front of him, but nothing major.
See a bit of cloud cover starting to come over Sunset Bend there as they go through the final corner. Not too much sun on the circuit as Van Genexten comes through the final corner now. Let's see if he's able to improve on his personal best of 59.3 here as he comes across on. He completely blitzes
fastest lap of the race.
59.0. That's half a second quicker than Daniel McCauley's best lap.
Fastest lap of the race. Hi, Van Genexten. That's why he's won 5 out of the first 6 races this season. And the other one, he only didn't win because he crashed.
Gregory Ranks.
Although he wasn't going to win anyway, I'll be honest, in that one. But,
well,
yeah. What a lap. What a lap. I mean, McCauley 59.7 is pretty close to his best lap of the race. I mean, what was the pole time? Do you remember what the pole time was?
I'll have a look for you. Pole time was, as he gets the qualifying standings up, it was 58.5. So
it's not far off, is it? Dear me. Just a machine. It's an absolute machine here, Van Genexten. Terrific stuff. Dan McCauley as well, putting the silver BMW in second place so far. He's just outstanding. Now, Gregory Ranks is closing back in on Javier Garcia, and we thought that he might do this because Garcia's pace has been good, but it's not been as quick as the 3 cars immediately behind him, Ranks, Hopley, and Boland, although the latter 2 seem to have fallen off a little bit in the last couple of laps. Boland, in fact, 2 minutes point 96, whereas Ranks Ranks was 1:59.7, Garcia was 2 minutes 10.
and you could hear the tyres sliding through there as well as Ranks runs very wide. Almost don't want to run much further wide than that, otherwise you're going to be in a dangerous spin in the car there as get up into 6th gear down the back straight into Sunset Bend again. Another fastest lap.
Oh.
58.9.
Getting close to his qualifying time on nearly 40-minute-old tyres.
Well,
I know the tyres don't really, you know, go off rapidly, but it's still impressive.
The times are tumbling, aren't they? Macaulay and Van Buel, second and third, have put in new personal best of the race, with Van Buel putting in a purple final sector, 14.5.
That's it. So everybody's just having a really good run. It seems that the circuit and tyre combination is a good one for the drivers. Settling in. Maybe that's what Van Genegten was doing though in those first few laps, was really preserving the tyres and just making sure he had the absolute best of them for later on. And also, no doubt he'll have saved maybe a lap of fuel. He'll be able to go longer than everybody else, which means a shorter pit stop. He's really got it all mapped out. Yeah, everybody's setting personal bests. Not everybody, but a lot of drivers setting personal bests on that previous lap. We had 9 PBs there. Van Genegten, Macaulay, Van Buel, Klaas, Claes, Eberev, Van Outven, Hessels and Grauls all setting their best tour of the circuit. What's it going to be for Van Genegten this time? He's coming through the final sector once more. As Garcia really does look like he's tidied himself up a little bit his last few laps. Looked a little tiny bit inconsistent when he was under pressure, which understandably so. Van Genegten coming to the line then. What can he do now? I mean, it's still a hell of a good lap, isn't it? 59.4.
Yeah, 59.4. That's Danny Macaulay did a 2-minute dead this time around, so a bit more time gain there. His gap is now up to 7 seconds. But this gap's still, yeah.
Sorry, 59.9 for Ruben Van Buel. It looks like the personal bests have dried up now, doesn't it? The sweet spot's gone.
Yeah, I think Marco was explaining. It was the weather, I think, because they're looking sunny.
It went very cool, didn't it? Well, not very cool, but not sunny anymore. That's true.
Yeah, we had a lot of cloud cover, and the times all of a sudden came flying in. It's now really sunny again here.
Look at this.
Here comes, this is Steve, isn't it? Steve Klaas versus Sebastian Heberer.
Oh, and he didn't give him the space. I tell you what, he fought that one hard, Steve Klaas. Oh, he's lost it. Oh, he's off. He's back on again. It was a good defence of that position. He tried his best.
Had a little trip down the layout that we used once in the BSRTC, I think. Here we go. Here's a replay. Then the helicopter as well.
This was brilliant, though. He held the middle of the track. He tried to pinch him down as much as he possibly could. Unfortunately for him, though, it meant that there was no real momentum to be carried round the outside. Oh. And then he has a huge twitch. And actually, you know what? As the sun has come back out, we have seen the times just fall off for pretty much everybody.
See, of redness on the on the timing screens, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everybody not able to improve. Approaching 20 minutes to go then in the Simracersworld GT series here at Sebring. And I'm Andrew Woodhouse here, Marco Barbanera on the cameras. And we still are yet to see the majority of the gold and the silver cars come into the pits to make their mandatory stop. You can see there, the only cars inside the top 20 that have done so are Jeremy Hessels, who I think his pit stop counts as him starting from the pit lane. And
yes, I think so too.
Yeah. Not bad going by Hessels. Obviously, it only officially shows him as gaining 6 positions in the start, but he started in the pit lane and is now up to 15th place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's 20 positions gained, really. Ben Mears has gained 19 places. He hasn't been into the pits yet, though. Who else is a big gainer? Apart from Cobber Class. I mean, Cobber Class, 8th place. Started in 17th. It was a poor qualifying for him by his usual standards, but great first lap. I mean, he gained, to be honest, 8 of those places, I think, after a lap or two, hadn't he?
done pretty well. And yeah, you're right about Ben Mears too. He's gained 19 places since the start of this one. In terms of biggest losers, obviously you've got the cars that are all pretty much out of the race, done for the day. But the one that's still running, of course, is Stijn van Buol. He's down 13 places, still in 21st. There he is. He has got Roy Verke just behind him.
And you can see the effect that the damage is having, because he's down in the 201s and with not really any traffic in front of him. 201.5 that time round. Just the front of the car is crumpled. It cannot be giving him the exact grip that he needs. Must be lacking a tiny bit of downforce at the front of that car. Not major downforce cars these, but it's still, the aero is still important, of course.
You say they're not major aero. There's not too much aero on them, but we could definitely feel it with our Ferrari.
Oh, if you bend the rear wing, there is. Yeah,
yeah.
That's right.
Somebody sits on it. That wasn't the issue.
That's what we should have done. We should have got somebody to sit on it to bend it back. Because that really cost. It cost us 20 kilometers an hour. Did that?
We had to cut every single chicane in the hope of as comes Bob Boland. We could basically, because of the way things were, we could serve a slowdown penalty, and we could cut the course on purpose and still serve a slowdown penalty of us going full flat out down the back.
Oh, we would have certainly received the old driving standards flag if that was a real race, wouldn't we? But we didn't get that. That's the black and white flag, isn't it? The driving standards.
Yeah, the black and white one. Yeah, behave, you nutter. Plenty of them at Media City at the weekend. Dear me.
I've had that at karting a couple of times. The black and white flag. It wasn't my fault.
Yeah, but then after that I drove sensibly, and then my mate just took me out, and then he started celebrating. Honestly, what are we doing here?
I must admit though, it was that somebody said though. I saw a racing driver say something last week, like it's kind of a sick sort of reaction that they get when they see two people taking each other out in that you sort of you shouldn't celebrate, but you can't help it.
Oh yeah.
It's Johnny Herbert, I think, you said that actually.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think I was watching that day of live testing. I think
that's it.
Or the review show, or whatever it was.
Yep. Bram Van Alphen.
Yes,
has made an appearance on the broadcast.
He's just come out of the pit in his privateer entry. I lie, has he? Actually, yeah, he has. 12 seconds.
Yep. I saw him come out of the pits. He's definitely been in.
Can't look at two things. I don't
think he was driving round those corners for fun, as he is from Garcia and Franks. Once more having a bit of a ding dong battle. Garcia's very wide in the middle. It's going to be an even run, really, Bill, because he's got actually the momentum. Look, that's a bit of an egregious start line, isn't it? It's about 5 yards long. It's not a start finish. Oh, he's going for it. He's going for up the inside, Garcia.
I wonder where it actually starts, don't you?
Oh, he nearly lost it.
Andrew Hopley's come into the pits. He wasn't too far away from those guys earlier on, but he is
now.
It's not
even the yard of bricks. It's like 5 yards of painted checkerboard on the floor.
It's almost like Paul Ricard back in the day in the 80s. I think there's something like that there.
I think I've seen that actually. Yeah.
It's all fresh in my memory because I've been watching those reviews back. But up to 92 now, by the way.
Good year. Well, that's a good one, that.
Yeah.
91 was one of my favourites, actually. It was a good season.
That was a good one. Yeah, I watched that the other day.
Now, Gregory Franks. He has got past, at last, Javier Garcia after taking... So he must have been sitting looking at the rear of the Mercedes for about 10 laps. Maybe more. And now he's through. And he's got 5.8 seconds to Ruben van Boel that he needs to try and make up. By the way, Van Genekten's back in the 59s again. No one else is.
Everybody's just dropped into the 2 minutes, haven't they? Oh, yeah, they have really, haven't they? So
201s. Most of the top 10 look 201s. Well, and Van Genekten's to 59s. Whichever tyres he's got, I want them. Because I mean, he must be treating them very, very nicely for them to be giving him this much grip this late on in the race. I'll put my teeth back. Here comes Macaulay.
Here comes Macaulay, yeah.
Hmm.
Just see if I can for you as into the pits comes everybody else. That's Franks and Garcia. So down the pit lane they go. It is, blimey now, 39 degrees track temperature. Tyres are getting smouldered out there.
Well, that's the thing. It can, but it can make that subtle difference. 59.9 still for connected.
It's only 23 degrees ambient temperature out there. That's some of the temperatures we've had here in the UK this week.
Oh, what ridiculous weather that is! It might as well be Florida.
Warmer than Ibiza, I am told, this week.
Well, it was the hottest in Wales, I think, had the hottest temperature ever recorded in February.
Like, yes, in the 20s.
20 plus degrees, yeah, it's ridiculous. It's crazy. Still in February that we're having those temperatures, and then it was cold today.
Yeah.
So just to balance it all out as normal, you know. Here, that's one thing with Florida though, is I doubt there's such massive swings in temperature. I bet it's pretty mild all year round. Well, you know, when it gets to the coldest part, I bet it's quite mild. Now,
few people have been in, haven't they? Growls.
There's a lot of people in. It's only Van Genechten, Ruben Van Buol, and Arturo Alvarez, and Steve Clays.
Yeah.
Yet to make a pit stop. Stephen De Wolf hasn't made a pit stop either, but he's had all sorts of issues in this one. Van Genechten then is taking the tight line in Sunset, so I wonder if that means he's going to come and get the service. He is.
Somebody in front.
Oh, I think that looks worse than it was.
Yeah, that is. I was about to say it's Stein Van Buren, isn't it? I think that might be John. It's not John McConville, is it? That might be. God knows. Into the pits comes Ruben Van Buren. Is Arturo Alvarez going to join them in the pits here? Nobody has lost too many positions dramatically here. Bram van Outven is still your bronze leader. Second, top silver looks still to be Daniel Macaulay once Alfonso Alvarez comes into the pits. There is Macaulay. He's only a few seconds away from Alvarez, so he's almost certainly going to get by. Is he going to trouble Van Genechten though? Van Genechten's away from his pit box. It was a 10.8 second stop, and he's already back out on the circuit. So
he was nearly a second a lap quicker than Macaulay the last sort of 2 or 3 laps. Macaulay and Van Buol had those laps where they were 2 or 3 tenths slower, and then they went back to 1 second slower. And one of the fastest pit stops of the day, in fact, the second fastest pit stop of the day by Van Genechten, 10.8 seconds. In fact, Alvarez has just put a 10.02 in. That's the second fastest time, then the new second fastest time. Fastest time belongs to Roy Viveca on 9.48 seconds. Wow.
Obviously, he's not too concerned about the fuel towards the end of this one anyway. Good though that this battle between Franks and Garcia has remained after this round of stops. These two are the closest drivers on the circuit. Everybody else is about at least a second and a bit between each other. We did say at the beginning of the show that Sebring is going to be one of the top places to overtake. Just looking at the calendar for next week, which is the Nürburgring, we could see a bit more around there.
It's going to be good.
Well. Yeah.
It's going to be a hell of a track, that. Hell of a race. This one's been good as well. Not as close at the front during the last sort of 20 minutes or so, but certainly for the first half of it, it was exciting. The main battles, the main excitements to be had in the lower half of the top 10. This Garcia Franks. In fact, Garcia has got back ahead of Franks, which I'm sure pleases him no end.
And this is a good battle too, isn't it? This is Arturo Alvarez versus Matthias Detige in the closing 10 minutes here at Sebring. Simracersworld versus VRO, and we've also got another Simracersworld car not too far. I say another Simracersworld car, it's 8 seconds down the road in Ian Roots. So going to be BMW versus Merc here for a potential 9th spot here between a silver and a gold car.
Just kept it clean, those guys, haven't they, really? And it's gone along their merry way. Gone about their business. Want to see what sort of lap times. McCauley's in the mid 2 minutes. With the extra fuel now in. Really, those laps that we saw, about 5 laps before everybody came in, they were almost certainly going to stay the fastest laps of the race, because it's when the car's going to be light and the tyres are still going to be in decent condition. Here is the Tige, Adam, and he's really pushing on Alvarez here, who doesn't defend the inside. He tries to defend, but it's too late. The Tige let on the brakes, and he spots that one beautifully, and he goes through into 9th place.
That was his way out the hairpin as well. Good move by Simracersworld driver number 37.
Alvarez just wasn't. He just did not really react quickly enough, I'm afraid.
Saw one VRO car make a little bit of a mistake in order to allow him through. Are we going to see the same here with Garcia in the closing stages? The Mini Rossi has done a great job of keeping ranks at bay since he got back ahead of him a few moments ago. So he could be able to do so for the rest of the race. There's not going to be too many tours left of this race, because it's just about a 2-minute lap, and we've got 7.5 minutes to go. So many more laps for Franks to get it done if he wants to finish in that best of the rest 4th spot.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a good return to form for Ruben van Boel if he can finish 3rd. You can actually see him just ahead of this battle. And that's probably what Gregory Franks can see as well. He can probably see him and think, well, maybe it's half a chance. But he thought he'd done the hard work getting past Garcia and just hasn't managed to keep it, sadly. Well, sadly for him anyway, not for Garcia. Extremely happy with that. Alvarez and De Tige continue to battle. How has Alvarez got back ahead of De Tige then?
That might be worth a replay.
Because
oh dear, what's
it took me a while to register.
Here's a replay then. This is before the final. This is the penultimate corner. Oh, he's going to go wide, isn't he? And that's all it takes. That's all it took. And through goes Alvarez back into 9th.
I heard you say no dear. Did you say anything untoward there?
I thought I said I did just because I thought Roots disappeared. It said out on the timing screen.
Oh God.
So, but he has restored his place, and he's still in 11th too, which is pretty good, because he has been in the wars a little bit today in Roots in the Simracersworld Cup, so he's doing okay here. State of play once again with just over 5 minutes to go. It's top gold Van Genekten, top silver Danny McCauley, top bronze is Van Outven in the privateer, and there he is as well.
Yet again, that car is spotless. Atomic Motorsport car, isn't it? Could be wrong on that. But he's doing a great job. He's doing a cracking job, as usual. Now, Franks versus Garcia, part 675.
He's somewhere. There he is.
Oh, he's trying the big long move around the outside again, but just slightly too wide. The grip just dries up when you get out there. That's the problem. You just can't get the car to rotate.
Started off well, but yeah, it's just when you get through the middle of the middle of that first corner and then towards the exit, you run out of grip, and then you run out of road.
Well, that's it. As soon as you think, oh, we might get some momentum going, you've got to cut it back to hit that tiny little curb. And he has to do it all again, Gregory Franks. But we have to say, we can't take it away from Javier Garcia just how good a job he's done of of staying ahead of clearly a faster driver today.
See if he can get it. See if he can try and set him up going into Tower here. It's such an important corner on the circuit. Very nearly clips the cover. A lot of
Garcia
understeer
is better through Tower.
Yeah, which is really important because, as you can see, it sets you away for this run down to the Le Mans complex and then could have further impacts for the rest of the lap here as we swing it in here. This was where it was Tej getting by Alvarez, wasn't it? Looks like Mercedes is struggling potentially with the tyres there a little bit. You can see how much steering lock he's having to put in to get it in.
You can hear it as well.
Yeah.
You could hear it slithering around through some of the medium speed S's. Just wonder if it's just going away from Gregory Franks a little bit now. Sun beating down on this surface. A lot of concrete on this one. It was an airfield, wasn't it?
Yes.
It's another airfield circuit.
Yeah, I remember doing
Silverstone.
One of our Ritmatech broadcasts, Tyler Vickery, was giving me the full lowdown on it.
He's from here, isn't he? He's from around this area, isn't he? Orlando, I think he's from.
He might even be going, yeah.
I think that's where he goes to college, I believe. Here we go then for Franks once more. He's really not close enough this time. Gets a good tow though. Gains over a 10th, but Garcia has been pretty much spot on with his braking pretty much every time. At Van Genekten, 59.6. The second fastest time out there that last time round, 2 minutes, 0.5. Now Dan McCauley, 14 seconds is the advantage. Considering he didn't even get through for 10 or so laps. Pretty amazing, really.
Franks looks like he's got a good chance now. Don't know if
he was much better through Tower that time.
Either he's very good through the first part of the lap, or he was just not as good on the previous lap, because the gap does look like it's a bit smaller than it was a lap ago. It's about 0.3 of a second, and if he can get a good run through here, which he is getting, using all of that exit runoff area, swings it in here, and it's only about 0.3, and you can see that Garcia is now having to move across because Franks is just that little bit closer as we're coming around to start what will potentially be the final lap here. But I think
it will, yeah.
Yeah, it should be the final lap.
I think it will be. Franks tries the wider line to try and cut it back. Bit of a 50-50 one there, but you know, both quite similar through there. Franks gets a great tow down the main straight though, and that's a much better line. That's a heck of a good line by Franks. The rear end of the Mercedes just twitching around slightly as he tries to force a move on Garcia, but Garcia very calmly places the car in the middle of the circuit, doesn't allow Franks to get any sort of opening whatsoever.
Not been the best of laps for Bram van Alphen. He's lost 3 places. He's dropped down to 18th place.
He's lost 10 seconds too.
Hopefully he hasn't run out of fuel or anything. Looks like it's stabilised itself now. Here's a replay. This is going into Tower Bend here. Goes off.
Oh,
and he hits the wall. And that
crash.
That green Mercedes that we were mentioning earlier as being immaculate has now got a bit of a bruise or a bit of a...
Oh, and it's crabbing appallingly as well, look.
He's just got to get through one more lap, and the next bronze car is quite a way away, so... I say
Let's have a look at...
Yeah.
Is here Van Genekten, Adam, and he's going to take the checkered flag very shortly.
Here he is then. He's coming into the final corner. He was in second place for a while. He got by, blitzed a couple of laps, built the gap, came into the pits, emerged with a healthy lead in hand and has been extending it ever since. A week break. Normal service has been resumed. Here Van Genekten wins round 7 of the Simracersworld GT Series here at Sebring. It may not be the overall win, but it's going to be a silver class win for Daniel McCauley. Coming through the final corner now, and he's going to take the 2nd position. completing the overall podium. It's going to be Ruben van Buol, but what about this?
Oh!
Garcia that gets 4th. Frank will complete the top 5. Here is our bronze leader, though. He is just about going to make it home. You might lose a couple of positions here, because look, here come Peter Grauls and Ben Mears. They're all over each other. There's only 0.2 of a second between them.
Yeah, he's not going to worry about that too much, though, because it's Pedro Bragança who he's really fighting with. He's quite some way down. He's very slow. He's Van Outven now.
Oh, there's a car stopped.
Oh, what's that?
Oh, what's going on here?
It's Ronald Moons. And he's not going again.
There's a car reversing across the track then for a second.
Is it fuel related? Is it?
Looks like it's hit something. You can hear the car. He's going to get going again, is he?
He just needs to go if he's going to go. But here's Van Outven then to take the win in bronze. He got away with that scare. And what sort of lap time did he do at the end? He did 2:05. So he couldn't have dealt with very many more laps of that. I must admit, if he'd have done that 4 or 5 laps earlier, he might have had a bit of a scare. Because overcomes Bragança right now to take second in silver.
I think we're about to find out what happened to Ronald here. Ronald Moons. I think. Oh no, okay. I could hear this. I could hear the apex like swooshing sound effects, and I thought we were about to see, or whipping sound, something like that. Yeah. So Ronald Moons 23rd place overall in the end. Knows what happened there. I don't know if he'll be able to chat to us, but that concludes the race. Everybody has crossed the line, so I think we can go and get the results screen up.
Can indeed. And once again, here Van Genekten gets to the top of the podium. 6 out of 7 wins this season.
Oh, that's a gold, isn't it?
That's just the gold. That's just the gold class. I mean, we could do that we could do that. You know, I can hear the cogs just absolutely spinning round. Adam. No, what's going on here? Anyway, we've got Van Genekten. We'll just do the classes at a time. Here, Van Genekten wins the class 22.7 seconds ahead of Ruben van Buol. Javier Garcia in 3rd. Gregory Ranks 4th. Bob Boland in 5th. And Detige. And then Ian Roots. Then Hebra. Then Kleis. Then Ema. Grauls. Moons. Stein van Buol. And Chris Moretta. And into silver, Dan McCauley wins by 15 seconds. Which was really tremendous stuff. 2nd overall, of course, for him. Andrew Hopley 2nd, Cobra Class 3rd, Arturo Alvarez 4th, Roy Viveka in 5th, Jeremy Hessels in 6th, Ben Mears in 7th, then Souza in 8th, then McConville, then DeWolf, Dupin, Schurmans and Taines. And over to bronze. It was victory for Bram van Outven, but not without quite a moment. Absolutely smashing the right front suspension on the tyre barrier with about 3 laps to go. Got away with it. Pedro Bragança in 2nd, Dries Moosdy in 3rd, Jochen Lennart's 4th, Thijs Berger in 5th, and Lee Woodburn, Luke Tice, and Stuart Musselwhite retired early on.
There we go. As we look at the hotel by the Sebring International Raceway. Now we can go to some interviews. We've got them. We do have them. We've got Andrew Hopley and Daniel McCauley waiting to speak to us. I think we'll get Daniel McCauley in first, finished in 2nd place today. Get him up for a quick word.
I bet.
Oh, there we go. I've taken him up mid-conversation. Daniel McCauley, welcome to the commentary box. 2nd place today. You were in the lead for a little bit, but then Van Genekten managed to get by, and then he just flew away in the end.
Yeah, we had that great start, and I was a little bit confident, and then when he started catching me, it was like, it's the inevitable's happening. He's coming, and then he started fuel saving, and I just thought I'd try to do the same, so started saving fuel and tyres to try and play the long game. But eventually he was just way too fast. His pace is just relentless, and well done to him.
Well, still, a second place overall is pretty good, and a win in the silver class too. That keeps you still at the top of the lead in the silver class anyway. That should still make you pretty happy.
Yeah, that's great. I've extended the lead even further, which is never a bad thing. And I think I've closed in on second overall in the points as well, which is that'd be a great achievement as well.
There was a period in the middle of the race where all of a sudden times just absolutely came down and everybody was flying. Was that due to the clouds coming over the circuit a bit, making it a bit cooler out there?
Yeah. The track dropped from 102 to about 94 degrees, so that made a massive difference. And my car was set up much better in the cold weather than the warm weather, which is why I found a bit more time. But it was just 7/10 a lap faster than anyone at that point, so it was pretty much game over.
Next week then, we go to the Nürburgring. How's the BMW going to go around there? Completely different circuit, of course, to this one. A lot more elevation.
I think it's more how am I going to go around there rather than the car. I'm not too sure, to be honest. It should be okay, I think. A lot of hard braking zones and stuff, so just hopefully get the car set up as good as I did this week and try and push for an overall podium again.
Very well done. Before we let you go, do you want to send a quick shout out to anybody?
Huge shout out to CQR, because without them I wouldn't be running at the pace I'm at just now. Big shout out to Chaslington Media, and just Josh for helping me with the setups as usual. You guys for the broadcast, and also just thanks again for your involvement with the charity race. That was a big deal to me, and yeah, just see you guys next week.
Yeah, great job out on the circuit today, and yeah, I wonder we'll see if the Beamer can get back to the top step again next week. But yeah, thanks for taking the time to come and speak to us.
Thanks, guys.
And Macaulay there. Right, who should we go on to next?
I think that once I can get this thing to work, I think we should grab Andrew Hopley. And there he is in the commentary box. Andrew Hopley then joins us here on Apex Racing TV. Andrew, welcome to the box. Good race there. Started 7th, up to 6th. Pretty decent stuff.
Yeah, I'm happy with that, mate. If you'd have asked me like before the race, what I'd have thought, Sebring's not really my favourite track, so yeah, surprised myself there, pal.
Well, it looked like you were having you sort of a. Sorry, excuse me, it's a bit noisy here. It looked like you were sort of coming in on the battle between Garcia and Vranks, but you just couldn't really sort of get involved until maybe a bit later on.
No, I mean, I was there. I had the pace. I think at some point during the race, I had the pace to potentially get away from them. But as the race went on, they just had far more control over the tyres than what I did. I tried a couple of moves on Gregory, which, to be fair, I've been in Simracersworld for this is my second season. So after the first season, if you'd have said to me, "Oh, you're going to be putting moves on Gregory this season," I'd have said you're having a laugh. So just chuffed to be putting some moves on Gregory, really.
Well, he was busy with Javier for quite some time. But tell us about. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, don't steal my thunder. let me enjoy it.
No, I was saying though it sort of allowed you and Bod to get close to the fight, and then really, what seemed to happen was when it got a bit when the weather sort of changed in the middle, it seemed like you guys just suffered a little bit. Was it the tires that were going off a little bit?
Definitely the last 20 minutes I struggled. I was struggling. My problem was I was really good on the brakes, but struggled on drive out of a couple of the crucial turns, really, which stopped me from putting a couple of moves on. Bod caught up with us after we were scrapping, and I sat I sat behind Gregory for, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes, something like that. I had my shot. I actually decided, me and Bod decided to let Bod have a go. And just as he was coming up the inside of me on the last turn, he got a slide on, and that made, well, that screwed that idea up. So, and that dropped both of us back a little bit, and I just failed to sort of chip away. Really, I managed to stay on the pace, but I was just making mistakes here and there and dropping back a little bit.
Like you say, though, you certainly got those moves in, and you did put yourself in a good position. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of it, really. But do you want to give some shout outs? Do you want to give some thank yous?
Yeah, thanks to Chris at CMR, guy that runs CMR team, top bloke. He's always there. He's really friendly guy. Massive support from him. Bod as well. Bod's my right hand man, really. Me and him practicing together. So big shout out to Bod, and obviously all the guys at Simracersworld, putting on what I can see is probably one of the best leagues out there, really, in terms of just the atmosphere, the friendships, the organisation. It's top notch.
I think you're definitely right on that one. Very well organised from what we've seen, and we look forward to seeing more of it. Sorry, go on. You just about to finish off.
Yeah, and obviously Apex TV for putting the show on as well. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Nice one. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Andrew, and we'll see you next time, mate.
All right, take care, lads.
Do it.
And then, Adam, shall we get Bram, because he had a bit of a he had a little bit of a brush with danger at the end, Adam.
Yeah, Bram, welcome. We were just talking before the last few laps about how car was looking pretty good, but then with about 2 laps to go, I think we cursed you.
Yeah.
And then hit the wall and had to limp round to take the win.
Yep, I think I have 3 laps left with the damaged car. Just took it to the end. But the positions I lost wasn't not too bad at all.
Yeah, you didn't have too many bronze cars around you, fortunately. So far this season, it's been pretty good for you, and today was good as well. You didn't have to deal too much with the bronze cars, but do you still like to race with the silver cars that you've got around you?
Yes, I had a nice battle with Ronald Mons, but he put it a few laps before me, so I had a free track to drive my own pace, and it then ended up pretty well.
What was it like at Sebring today? A pretty bumpy circuit. Not too many like it on the schedule, that's for sure.
I like the track. I got a very good setup from Gregory Franks, and it's a good preparation for this weekend.
And we were just talking to Daniel Macaulay about that period in the middle of the race where the track temperature really came down, and you were able to get some decent laps in a lot quicker than what you were able to do towards the end of the race.
Yes, the grip was very good today, better than Monday's practice. It all worked out fine.
Great. Well, next week is the Nürburgring. How do you think you get a fare around there?
I really don't know. I'm glad it's not a big one.
There we go. Well, perfect way to end it. Well, just before we let you go, Bram, do you want to send a quick shout out or any thank yous to anybody?
Yep, Gregory for the setup, Ian for organizing all the stuff, and Jochen from DynamiXX for the sponsoring.
Great. Well, well done on the bronze victory today. Even though it could have been a close run thing, I think, if there were too many more laps. But it's a win nonetheless. And yeah, thanks for taking the time to come and speak to us.
Okay, next time.
Cheers, Bram.
And then the final person who is going to be joining us in the box is Koba Class. Koba, welcome to the commentary box. And well, you took a poor qualifying, and within 2 laps, just absolutely banished any memory of that. 8 places gained, up into the top 10, and then it seemed like you just ran a nice solid race from there.
Well, good evening, guys. Yes, I did. So the start was really good. I knew I had to make a great start because the qualifying, as you said, was really rubbish. So that's what I tried to do. Make a good start, gain some places, but I never expected to go that well. And the rest of the race was just trying to maintain a good pace and finish the race. Yeah.
It seemed like that the track was going to suit the BMW because of the way that it handles and the size of it and things like that. But then we saw as the race went on, it seemed like the Mercedes just grew stronger and stronger. Is that what you felt in the car?
Yeah, a bit. Especially when the temperatures of the track were higher. We had a slight moment in the race that the temperature dropped a bit. In those few laps, my car was pretty fast. I could gain some time from Matthias, but then as the track got hotter again, he gained again.
Yeah, we saw there was fastest lap after fastest lap for 2 or 3 laps with Van Genegten, and then it seemed to drop off a little bit, and we were like, well, where did he get that from? And then, of course, we remembered it's something that we even struggle to recognise because of the fact that it's quite a new thing to the service, with the sun coming in and out and whatever, that we just don't realise that it's happening. But yeah, the track acting like it would do, and yeah, I mean, at the start, did you feel that? Was it your intention? Was it your intention to really, go for a lot of gaps and really try and make it count?
At the start, I really wanted to gain at least 1 or 2 places, because it's for this championship. I was thinking of trying to get past Anton in turn 1, but the jump that I did there was no, not expected, but intended. Yes.
Excellent stuff. And of course, we go to the Nürburgring next week. Are you looking forward to that? Is it a track that suits your style?
Not really. The big Nürburgring, yes, but the GP track is I'm struggling there always. So
we're not getting much love for the Nürburgring tonight, Adam, are we? I love that circuit. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, it's a track that we seem to go to every year now, isn't it?
Well, that's it. But I've always loved the GP circuit. I think it's great. But again, it's difficult one. Some people say love the Nordschleife. Some people love the GP circuit. Some people don't like either. So it's one of the things that you get in this league, and I'm sure the Simracersworld GT Series is going to put on a good show. Before we let you go, give us some shout outs to your team, to your sponsors, to whoever you like.
First of all, to Simracersworld, of course, for the amazing league we're having. Second of all, to DynamiXX Simulators, really helped me out here. And yeah, that's about it. Also to you guys for the commentary. Thank you a lot. So yeah, see you next week.
Awesome stuff. Thank you very much. And thanks for your time, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Cheers. Cool, class there, Adam, and he cements his position in the top 5 of the championship with that.
Job out there by him today with a good battle as well, and the DynamiXX racing car finishing in 8th position at the end of the evening. Well, we are just about out of time then as we approach 10 o'clock here in the UK. But my thanks to Marco for being on the cameras. Yeah, final thoughts from yourself.
Yeah, I just think it was a good, enjoyable race, and I think this series really gets stronger every week, and the field, they're getting more used to racing with one another now as well, and I think it's tremendous, and I really hope that this series does carry on in growing in this way.
Well, we've got the second half of the season still to come. We've got the Nürburgring, we've got Road America, we've got Brands, Buca,
and of course Spa. And of course, we've the imminent arrival of the BSRTC again for 2019. So we're not entirely sure what's going to be happening with.
Do you have
whether we're going to be doing this or whether we're going to be doing that? But it's going to be. I don't have it. No,
I think it's week 13.
I was going to BS my way through that, and I decided not to because somebody will call me on it. Like there'll be 3 people watching this who.
You got it wrong. Oh, yeah,
I'll get inundated with a Facebook message later on, and But no, I think I'm looking forward to the whole year's racing. I think it's going to be great, and we're already in March, in just a couple of hours' time, but we're well into racing season now. It's going to be underway, and we're going to be here to show it.
Can't wait. Well, thanks to Marco for doing the cameras and filling in for the for the first part of the qualifying session before Andrew Woodhouse arrived. And thanks to Woody, as always, for joining me for this one. It's a good, enjoyable evening's worth of action here in the DynamiXX Simracersworld GT Series. Hopefully you can join us for the next race meeting at the Nürburgring after 8 o'clock GMT next week. But for now, from all of us here at the Sebring International Raceway, goodbye.